Hello my loves, welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. Today we are going to work on making an artist portfolio, an online artist portfolio. This is kind of a part 2 of the first video that I posted a couple weeks ago. I will have that down in the link below if you want to catch up on that video. I pretty much go through what should be included in an artist portfolio. So if you haven't seen that video, I recommend watching that one just so you can understand exactly what will be included in this week's video. And speaking of which, I just want to thank the sponsor Wix making this video happen. It's really great to be able to work with Wix and bring you guys lots of great information that will help you and progress in your art careers. Down below I will have all the timestamps on, just if you have a very specific thing that you want to look up, I will have that all timestamped down below. But other than that, let's just get into it. Okay folks, so once you go to the Wix website, you will make an account and sign in. I've already made an account, so I'm just signing in to the Wix editor. And when you sign up, you can click in what your website is going to be. So I picked an artist portfolio, and then you're going to go into the website editor on the right side. And there were a bunch of templates for you to choose. And I went with this one, and hey presto, we're ready to go. Okay you guys, so the very first thing that we are going to do is work on our about page. So you've already signed up for Wix using the link below. You've picked out a very basic template, an artist portfolio template. I'll be showing you guys what I will be adding into my website, from the logo to the about page and the actual meat, the portfolio, and adding in all of those photos as well. I'm not a professional when it comes to making websites. My forte is obviously in the actual physical making rather than designing websites, but with Wix it's all drag and drop and it's quick to make a really professional looking website. So the very first thing that we are going to add in is the logo. I would recommend you have all of your assets beforehand just so you're organized and ready to go. I wouldn't recommend spending hours on end making your website, because the average person looking at a portfolio will look at it for like maximum a minute. So you really want to get in, tell people what you're all about straight away, and show your work as quickly as possible. I will add in my logo here. So if you go over to the plus sign here and then head over to image, I'm just going to drag and drop my logo, but Wix also does have a bunch of free images and stock images that you can use as well if you need to flesh out your website with some visuals. Click this button over here, and I've already uploaded my logo to the photo library that is in Wix. So let's just add that, drag and drop it. Okay. So I've added in my image over here and sized it down, and now I'm just going to place it over in the header here, and you can see that there's a bunch of guides there, so it'll show you where the center of everything is. And the great thing about this editor is that it's all drag and drop, and all the smart guides just make it really intuitive of where you should add in all of your elements. Logo, tick, done. Let's add in a little about section. So if we go over to add, and then we'll go over to strip. So here are in the strip section, and then you click down to the about section. There are all these examples of where you can add your about. I think adding the about with a image next to it makes it just a little bit more dynamic and just creates a bit more visual interest, so people are captivated. You know, they're going to look at the image the very first thing and then they'll read. So I think it's a smart idea to pop that in. So all you have to do is just click that, and then we'll drag it up. Okay, all right, so now let's edit the text. So we'll just put in about Zeke. So, and then I'm going to copy my little blurb about me, put that into the about segment. So you can see here that the text is a little bit too big, so I'm going to get rid of a little bit of it, and then we can pop it into another area somewhere else. I'm going to change the colors. I've already added in a color palette into Wix, so I can just reference that color palette straight away and pop in the colors like this. So obviously I'm going to stick with pink because that's what Zeke is all about. And this I'm just going to delete because we don't really need it. All right, let's change this image to an image where I'm just in the office, so just makes a little bit more sense for this website, and to tell the story of who I am. I've just recentered everything in the about page on this side here. It doesn't have all of the information for my about, but I'm going to leave that for later. For right now, I just want to focus on the design, and then, you know, you guys can get the idea of where you need to tweak afterwards. So that's the very first thing that you guys see when you go to the website. And then I would recommend just keeping a lot of information on the main page, because people don't like to go and click on a million buttons. A lot of people are more scrollers rather than clickers. So try and keep that in mind. And then the next thing I'm going to add in is, let's just go straight to the photos. So really that's what everybody wants to see when they go and view my website. They want to see the actual artwork. So click the plus sign over on the left side and then go down to gallery. Pick out a gallery that works for you. Would rather go a little bit more minimal with my website. Yeah, let's go with this slider called showcase. So we'll just click that and that'll add in the elements there. We'll drag this down, put that in place, and let's upload our photos. So I'm gonna select a bunch of tarot cards that I want to place in. We'll delete all the other images or the stock images that don't fit and suit the website. I want to resize this because the artwork's one of the most important things on the website. So let's just size this up as big as we can get. Okay, and the template here just came with a subscribe form. You can adjust that and adjust that to your needs and add and edit any of the colors that you want. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and customize the design. Alrighty. So that's the opening page, and let's move on to the actual artist portfolio page so more people can view and look at your artworks. Let's move on to the other pages on your website. I'm going to work on the actual portfolio, so the meat of everything. If we go down below the plus sign to menus and pages, that's where you'll find your navigation. So I am going to rearrange my portfolio, so that's the second page that we're going to work on. So now we are on the portfolio page. I'm gonna delete all of this stuff. This is what came with the template, but I'm just gonna delete that for now. Let's try and find an element that will work best for a portfolio. In the gallery segment, there's a recommended element here called Grid Pro Gallery. I like this one because it's got writing underneath it, so you can write whatever projects that you have and title those. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, I mean, you guys will have different projects and that will be categorized, but I'm just going to add in the same tarot cards that I added into the first page, just as an example, because I'm really just showing you guys the drag and drop features of Wix, and then all the little tweaking and stuff is more personalized to what your website is going to need. Okay, and you can see here it's added in the names of all of the cards. This is the Four of Cups. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and rename everything and I'll be back in a minute. All right, so I've changed the names of everything and now I've just gone into mobile mode, which is up here on the left-hand side. So you can switch to desktop mode and then mobile mode. I recommend you guys constantly look back and forth on what your website looks like in both formats, just because a lot of people are most likely going to look at your website. I think for the majority of the time, we'll be seeing it on mobile. So you have to make sure that everything, you know, still works when it is in mobile. I noticed that the logo was a little bit too big, and I want to make sure that when people are viewing the website, you know, those sort of pieces of information aren't too distracting. So I'm just going to size down the logo a little bit here. And then also I've noticed that the actual header is a little bit too fat or a little too tall. So I'm going to move that. And then the mobile menu over here is on the right side, and I want it to be on the left side. Well, should it be on the right side? Because I think majority of people will be holding it in their right hand. Left hand, right hand. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the navigation 3 bars? Do you prefer that to be on the top right corner or the top left corner? Let me know. But yeah, for right now, I think that looks pretty good. All the projects and artworks have been named. I've also added in just a subscribe box down below, or you could add a little contact box down below here. I recommend putting some kind of contact or call to action on each each page that you make, because by the time they get down to the bottom of the page, you may want them to contact you about hiring you for work or whatever people need to contact you for your service. Just try and make it as easy as possible, and I would recommend just adding some kind of call to action or form for them to fill out on each page, at the bottom of each page. So let's go back to desktop mode and see what this looks like. It's a very minimal website because, like I said, I would recommend everybody who is making a website to go more on the minimal side rather than over designing and putting too much information. The majority of the time, no one is going to look at all of it. Like I said, people are going to look at your website for maximum a minute. All right, let's move on to the contact form. So let's go back to our site pages, and we're not going to do a shop for this round just because that would require me to upload a lot of information, but there is a shop feature that you can add onto your Wix websites, and the back end as well is really intuitive. So if you have a couple of products that you want to sell, like 5 to 10 on a Wix website, I do recommend using this add-on feature. Any more than that, I would switch your focus and more be a shop rather than a portfolio. This is more of a portfolio focused video. Let's focus on that. Okay, so let's go back to our site menu and go to the contact page. Because you're designing an artist portfolio website, the main purpose is really to show your work and then try and get some leads. So whether people are commissioning you for artwork or wanting to work with you on some kind of collab, you want to make sure that the contact page is really obvious and you have lots of different formats of how they can contact you. I have already gone ahead and added in this element over here. I recommend changing the photos so you're not using the same photos over and over, but this is just for, example's sake. And then another thing that I would recommend is that you just pick the same color palette. Obviously, it's great with Wix. They've already saved that color palette, so you can just keep on referring to that. But another thing that I would suggest, and I've done a bad example showing you guys here, but I would just pick, the same title font and the same body font. Try and make sure that's succinct throughout the whole website. That way it's just a little bit more uniform, and when things are a little bit more clean and minimal, it doesn't distract the viewer from what the actual content is. You want all that form to be really obvious and not overly designed and not distracting. I'm gonna do a tiny bit more tweaking off camera, and then I will show you guys what I ended up with. I'll be back in a moment. All right, you guys, so we are going to see a little preview of the website that I've created so far. This is about 30 minutes of work or so, so really keeping it very minimal and to the point. So here we have my logo at the top with the navigation straight in the middle there. We have the about page just there, and then we also have this little scrolling gallery as well, so visitors can go and see my work straight away. So let's go over to the portfolio page. Again, very minimal. Once you click over here, if you need to, you could probably add a little bit more writing down the bottom and explain each card. So they go into a little gallery and you click through and look at all of the artwork over here. And then we haven't made the shop, so let's just skip that. But then the contact page here, I've just fleshed out a tiny bit more. I've put in a little example of what you could possibly write when it comes to writing your rates. I know it seems a little scary writing your rates and putting them out there for everyone to see, but in the past when I have done that, it's really scared off anybody who is just going to be a time waster. And for people who know what they're getting into, they can see exactly how much your time is valued at. Also added the form here just to make it a little bit easier and give people some options. I just added that in just to break up the page, and then a final subscribe form down below there. Okay, you guys, we are done with this week's video. Let me know if this video was helpful. Comment down below if this was informative, and if you have any further questions, please comment below. I'm happy to answer them and help you guys out. If you want to make your own website and your own artist portfolio, I recommend using Wix. You can head over to the link in my description if you want to make your own website and portfolio, and Wix will hook you up with a clean, professional looking website. Cannot wait to see what you guys come up with and see your portfolios. If you have a portfolio, I'd love for you guys to share it down below. I'm more than happy for everybody to network in the comments and say what kind of creative you are, so maybe we can all link up and help each other out. I'd love to see your websites down in the comments below. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.